The Electricity Company of Ghana is set to release a Dumsor timetable as it announces planned outages from 10th May to the 17th. According to CEO of the company, Ajman Budu, this has become necessary due to ongoing works on the Pokwase bulk supply point. Gridco had earlier warned of imminent power cuts upon request by contractors working on the Kaswa and Pokwase substations. Well, today, the request has been made. Listen to CEO of ECG, Kwame Ajman Budu, who disclosed this during a tour of the Pokwase bulk supply point, led by the Energy Minister.
As we have already stated, we are coming out of a planned schedule whereby, the areas that are going to be affected have been grouped into 4, Group A, B, C, and D. And it's scheduled in such a way that no single customer will see the outage throughout. For the 8 days, you will see probably a 12-hour outage in the daytime. The next 3 days, you will see outage in the nighttime. We will rotate it so that it doesn't affect customer throughout. So that's our plan.
What is necessitating this outage that you mean?
All this outage is due to connecting the Gridco line to the national grid, so that we can use our part of the control system to supply power to our customers.
Which areas will be affected?
Like I said, in Sawon, Pokwase, Bawe, a lot of areas.
When is this start? How soon?
From 10th of May till 17th of May. That's where the outages will occur. But the actual commission will happen on 31st of May. And then 1 week later, ECG will start loading our feeders.
Well, Information Minister Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah has been charging the contractors to stick to the date for completion of the project.
It's good to hear and to see the engineers explain to us that they are on track and that they will finish this particular project and tie in by the May timeline that they are looking at. But it's also good to understand the broader set of works that are ongoing. That's what's going on here. That's what we did last week in Tema. I think maybe next week or next 2 weeks we'll go to Kaswa, then we'll go to Kumasi to see the full breadth of the upgrade works that are ongoing. Each one has its own different timeline. The hope is that they will be able to complete all of the works by the times that they have set for themselves, so that the Ghanaian at home or at work gets the full benefit. It is to occasion that benefit that all of these works are going on, but we must be clear to follow up and ensure that they deliver on the timelines so that we all get the benefits. Governments over the years and this administration are clear in their mind that this is an essential service that must be provided by government. The private sector has a role. That's why you have independent power producers. So they produce, Gridco onboards everything and does the distribution. And then the off-takers like ECG or Netco, etc., do the distribution within the local communities. These are various parts of the value chain. They've worked well so far, albeit with its own set of challenges. Today we're seeing something that should have been done years back, that is investing in an upgrade of the system. But that investment will occasion some inconvenience. And I think what we need to do is to understand the roadmap for the works and to bear with the inconvenience. I mean, take the Pokwase interchange right here, or take the Tema motorway interchange. During the works, there were inconveniences. But because we all understood what was being done and when it to be completed, and therefore the benefits, we bore with it. Today we are happy to drive on it. I think it's the same thing that is happening here, and we would walk on that path.
Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah is the Information Minister. Meanwhile, CEO of Gridco, Jonathan Amakumba, has also been explaining that these outages are necessary because these projects ought to be completed.
If there is a human intervention, then it means that the automatic devices may not have recognized that there is a fault. That is only when there will be human intervention. These things have been set automatically, so that when they see the problem, they have to take, as he said, the machine, which is a transformer or a line off, in order not to damage the equipment. These equipment are very expensive. One transformer costs not less than $2 million. And if it gets damaged, it will take 1 year minimum to go and manufacture and bring a new one. So we want you to bear with us. Whenever your power goes off, know that there is a problem, and the problem is being attended to. That is why it has been taken off. And it is not a human intervention most of the time it is these devices that you see plastered all over here that sense, and they do it in milliseconds. They act faster than the human being in milliseconds. Sometimes it's microseconds. You cannot detect with your eye. Or, I mean, my reaction will not be as fast as that. That's why I say that it is only when they fail to act that a human being would go to act. By then, there might have been some disaster that have been caused because it was not properly taken off.
As the boss for Gridco there, well, some of you have already been reacting to this announcement. You fear, or the voices we're hearing tell us they fear a return to the dreaded days of Dumsor as it pertained the last time it happened. There were a lot of inconsistencies when it came to sticking to the schedule. Listen.
I believe that, you know, for a very long time, people have been agitating that it's Dumsor, but government is saying it's not Dumsor. Finally, if they've released timetable, then it means that they've come to terms with the fact that it is Dumsor. And they have to begin doing things that will make us believe in them. Because telling us that, oh, I will off your light at 5, so prepare. If you have a business doing, you know what to do. If you are a tailor or you are somebody who deals with light, you know what to do before the light goes off. But they're telling us that, oh, it's not Dumsor, it's a technical problem. So if finally they say they've released a timetable, we thank God. It's a step in the right direction. We only pray that whatever they are doing, they will be quick about it, and then within a short possible time, we'll get our lights back.
When they give the announcement that maybe we are going to off or we are going to give last out, light will not be in for some days, it doesn't go like that. Sometimes the lights will come all right. Sometimes you are unaware, you will not be aware, and then the lights will go off. You will try to ask to find out, to know the reason. You wouldn't be able to know. So that is our problem here. Because when the light goes off and you have some items in the fridge or whatever, because you are not aware to prepare yourself or not to even put the items in the fridge, definitely the items will spoil. That's how it affects the business people too. So that is my point of view. Timetable is good? Well, it's good because when they announce you that today or tomorrow you people should get prepared, there will not be light. That one, you also make your mind and also prepare your items very well. And here's the case, sometimes they'll tell you tomorrow or be aware next week there'll be lights out. There will not be light for you. And all of a sudden, though you agree that you are aware, at the time you'll be expecting the light will not come. You understand me? Sometimes they will say it's because of the problem in ECG, that is why. And meanwhile, it shouldn't be like that. Let us be aware that this is what is happening, so that when we all prepare our mind towards it, it will help all of us and it will not affect the timetable. If only they'll go according to the timetable, we shan't have any problem. If they don't go according to the timetable, that is what will affect the business. I mean, it will affect all of us. You understand me? Look at the lights out they have been giving. Sometimes when they give the light off, within some short or seconds, the light will come again. And it affects a lot of things. That is why we are having this fire breakouts and all of those things. You understand? So if only what they have actually decided to do and they will go according to the timetable, we shall have a problem.
Dumsor that we are experiencing, it's about them to tell us the truth. This is the problem. But always they give us another this thing. It's not true that they are telling us. You understand? It's Dumsor. Because Mahama time is the same thing that we was facing. So it's the same thing, nothing has changed. So it's Dumsor that we are experiencing now.
So you don't believe the timetable? You think it's Dumsor, right?
The timetable, at that time, no, they give us the timetable like this one. So what is the difference? And brother, if you are MPP, and the truth is there, you have to say it. This time around, you shouldn't follow that thing, say I'm an MPP, so if the truth is there, I shouldn't tell. No, it's not like that again. You have to speak the truth and be free. Nowadays, money is not there. To buy generator and all that kind of thing, it will definitely affect me.
Maybe some of us, the students learning, it can cause a lot of problem because if there's light off, and moreover, some of us, we are doing some small businesses. Maybe you use light, something like cold store and all that. But as the light goes off, there is no way that you can get light to be selling all those things. And maybe you have stocks in there. So if the light went off, maybe those things can destroy. So that one too, it costs.
Oh, me, I'm not happy about what is going on in the Ghana, because that means the politicians, they align us. Because when they want the power, they would say anything that they want. Oh, this thing has stopped, but now we are still in that situation. So it means me right now, next 2024, I'm not going to vote, because those people we are voting for, they are not doing what our needs, they cannot take care of us, because we pay all taxes, but still we are still in the same condition. So sometimes I don't understand.
Well, some rather nonchalant people there talking to Kofi Ajayi. Let's get on Zoom now. Executive Director for the Kumasi Institute of Technology, Energy and Environment, Ishmael Ejekumhene, is joining me. Mr. Ejekumhene, thank you very much for your time. Good afternoon. It looks like you're muted.
I am not.
Right.
Can you hear me?
I do hear you. I do hear you. Were you surprised when you heard this afternoon that we were going to get a schedule for at least the 10th and between the 10th and the 17th of next month?
No, I wasn't, and I thought that was what we've been asking for. That there has to be a system in place that would allow people to know when the lights are going out and when the lights are going to stay on. So I wasn't surprised, except that this is for a specific period, and it's not even until the 10th of May that they are talking about. So it means that for this period till that time, any outage will not be an announced outage. It wouldn't be a planned outage, and that's what we should be looking at. The specific time frame they gave to us is actually in May, and I don't think they told us that the lights are not going to go out until that time. So yes, it's for the specific window that they know they're going to do the transfer of the load, and this is in May. But as to whether between now and May there wouldn't be outages, I'm not sure they guaranteed us that. But any announcement that actually tells you that you can do A and not do B because you're going to have outage at a certain time, it's good for the consumer, and it's better than nothing when you are there and then suddenly the light goes.
Is it clear to you? Because initially the communication was that we should expect this to end somewhere in September. Some parts of the country is suspected to end somewhere in December. So with this schedule we're hearing of in May, does it provide for any clarity? I mean, for someone like you, from where you sit, whether or not this could continue that would have a schedule even after May, all the way into September?
I think it's been clear from the beginning that for the problems that we are experiencing in Accra, it's more likely going to end in July. And that statement also came out, that date came out from the announcement today that they are very optimistic that come July, the problem in Accra would have been resolved because the Pokwasi substation would have been completed. The other timelines that are being given are in respect of the rest of the country, especially the issues around Kumasi and the northern part of the country. So there are two different timelines that we're talking about. And the September timelines, my understanding is that it's when every congestion in the transmission network would have been resolved. But for the Accra one, once the Pokwasi substation is ready, we've always been told that the Accra problems would have been solved by then. So July, and that timeline, that time was actually, date was actually repeated today. So I'm quite sure that, and knowing what I know, the Pokwasi project is very much on course. So by July, it's very likely that the problems in Accra, we're not going to experience those outages anymore.
Well, the concerns that people have raised, those that we went out to talk to have raised, is that back then when we were in our Dumsor days, that there were inconsistencies, severe inconsistencies in the schedule. So there are times that people are expecting the power to be on, there are times they're expecting it to be off, and it's the other way around. Is there a way that you can talk us through ensuring consistency in this schedule that we're expecting?
Well, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to talk about ensuring consistency because some of the things, like you heard the GridCo board saying, some of the decisions, in fact, some of the outages are done by the machines themselves, because he talked about microseconds. Because as soon as there is any instability at all, the system will detect that. And if you don't act, the system will act on your behalf, and then so as to ensure that no damages are okay. They're okay. So I think sometimes we shouldn't forget that what these utilities do, what they do basically is that they sell power, they sell electricity. So it's in their interest as much as it is in our interest that the power is on. So I'm not too sure they will take it off when it shouldn't be off. So if they tell you they will do 12 hours and within the 12 hours or even before the 12 hours the lights go off, then it's because there's another problem that they probably didn't anticipate. The problem is that it is not only the transmission network that has a problem. We have problems at the distribution side. So sometimes, even when GridCo is giving power to ECG or NetCo, I don't think that you can guarantee that you get power as and when you need it. So I think the narrative should be clear. Sometimes not all the problems that we are encountering, that is as a result of GridCo's problem. Some of them is purely distribution problem. And the ECG problem, the NetCo problems have been with us. We haven't solved them. So what they are not doing at this stage is letting us understand that even when the GridCo problem is solved, we still have what used to be called light-off. Those light-offs, they've been with us ever since I've been a Ghanaian. And it's because there's a problem, always there's a problem with the distribution network that we haven't quite fixed. So I think once they give us a timeline, the timetable, the best is for them to stick to that so that people will be able to plan their life. And I agree with them. It's frustrating especially if you've gone on for 12 hours or something like that and you're expecting power for another 12 hours. You plan your time within that period. And within that period, the lights go on. We've experienced that in the past. So I hope, and this coming from the transmission side, I think there will be a lot more reliability in terms of whatever timelines they give to us and the timetable they give to us, because it's easier controlling the transmission side than the distribution side, where there's several networks involved, unlike the transmission network that is pretty much, I should say, easier to regulate and control.
This will be my final question, and it's interesting. I think you mentioned a bit of that, or you answered a bit of that, but so I was going to ask you about whether or not, in terms of looking at the bigger picture, will the time frame within which we have to make this sacrifice so that we fix this problem that has to be fixed anyway, fixed our bigger problems? You know, like you said, we've had light outs since you know, you've been a Ghanaian, you said. Will this add or subtract from our fixing of the bigger problem when it comes to our power generation and distribution all put together?
Not quite, because you see, unfortunately, this problem that we're having now, it's being caused by a segment of the value chain that historically has never given us problems. I mean, we've always had the transmission segment doing its work. So previously, it's either generation or distribution. So once we fix the transmission problem, which probably shouldn't have occurred in the first place, because normally if the projects that they're working on, if they had gone according to schedule, we probably wouldn't have encountered this problem. But in relation to, thankfully, for some years now, we do have excess capacity. So for those two sides, we should be good. But the problems at the other end, the people who interface directly with you and I, the distribution companies, they can't guarantee you that even if all the Great Coast problems are solved, you have uninterrupted power. The networks will need to be made a little bit more smart. It has to be smarter. They need to change. A lot of investments is required. You recall that when there was an attempt to bring the private sector into the distribution, you heard the kinds of money that we were talking about. Even the PDS people, the PSP was actually supposed to invest a minimum of over $500 million over 5 years. Those are the kinds of money that I don't think ECG has now to invest in those systems. There's a reason why that investment was required. All transformers will have to be changed. Some of the power lines will probably have to be changed. They need to install some technologies that will allow them to monitor so many things, including power thefts and all of that. So I don't think this problem will bring our problem to an end. As we speak right now, the government has told everybody in this country right from 2019 that the energy sector has a problem, and there's an energy sector recovery program that is being implemented. That is where we should be looking at, because the problems are mounting by the day, and I don't think just fixing the transmission will solve the problem. I mean, the energy sector is actually in a lot more problems than just having transmission challenges.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for your time this afternoon. Executive Director of KITE there, Ishmael Ejikumhene, helping us with his perspective on the issue. Well, I'm curious to know how you're dealing with this and how you intend to deal with it. Are you going to invest in generators? Are you going to invest in the solar system? I mean, we know that even though we've been giving a time frame of May, that we've also been told to expect, well, May, July, we've still been told to expect some more outages as we go along. So will you invest in any of those? Jump on our social media handles. Let's hear what your thoughts are. You're watching The Pulse with me, Gifty, and Apia. I'll take a quick break here. We'll be right back.